All right, guys. Well, the first map has now loaded. It's going to be on Daybreak, so let's get into this epic best of 5. Welcome to Daybreak. We have guys spawning in the bottom left-hand position, currently teamless, trying to impress, making a pretty good run through this tournament so far, and having a lot of skill behind him. Let's see if he can take out his opponent. It is, of course, Yugioh. He's going to be going up against the Western Wolves Terran, spawning in the top right position, and the red colors, the former NS Hostio player. Let's see if he can make an impression here. It is Sting.
All right, so it looks like we are going to be on Daybreak here. Really interesting TVZ map. I'm really excited to see what sort of opener, and, well, there we go. Yugioh already tipping his hand, going for the 10 pool. This is going to be a really quick, aggressive play. We're going to have to wait to see if Sting throws down the CC first, or tries to expand on the low ground and leave some opening for those Zerglings to get in and do damage.
Now this is particularly interesting as well. Okay, good. That wasn't for like a CC first or anything like that. We are going to be seeing a barracks going down behind the mineral line. So Yugioh coming out with a 10 pool, Sting hiding his barracks, but he is actually making one at a pretty normal time there. And I do have to say, the metagame shifts slightly when you see two of the Korean players play each other, because these guys must have faced each other a million times before. GSL, GSTL on the ladder, stuff like that. So they know a lot more about each other's play styles than they would some of the foreigners in this tournament. And as a result, the mindset going into a match like this could just be a little bit different, and maybe that's triggered this particular aggression to start us off with.
Absolutely, man. I mean, it's going to be really interesting to see how this works out. I mean, this isn't all in at all from Yugioh. He's building 6 Zerglings right now, but he's already got a Queen on the way. Yes. And you can actually see he's sending a drone out a little bit early, probably to start an expansion, though. So he's going to try and get some damage done with about 8 to 10 Zerglings. And with this barracks kind of not part of a wall-off, he's got a good opportunity to do it. If those Marines are caught out in the open and there's no SCVs buffering for them, these Zerglings are going to be able to isolate that barracks. And, oh my god, Sting throwing the command center down on the low ground. This could actually be a really big loss if he has to cancel that.
And immediately floating the barracks back as well. So even though he has a Marine out, there's going to be a long period of time here where he isn't actually making any more units, and it's not walled off as well. The first Marine gets promptly surrounded there. Not quite, but the barracks is prevented from putting itself down. The Marine goes down, and now we have SCVs fighting against Zerglings. Not the best of situations for Sting. The gas is about to complete, but really that's a completely moot point right now, and these Zerglings are just doing so much.
This is so bad for Sting right now. He's pulling his SCVs out to battle, but so many are falling down already. He's microing so well, pulling back the hurt ones, but these Zerglings just aren't dying.
Yeah, 4, 5, 7 SCVs now going down, and this is beginning to look very difficult for our Western Wolves player. Yugioh coming out with the 10 pool in game number 1, and after that aggression, he's up 21 supply to 12. He has a second hatch on the way. Queens are already out, and he is up to 18 workers versus 10. This is catastrophic.
Oh, that is such a hard way to start off the game. Whenever Zerg gets an opportunity to get in the Terran space early and mess up their build order, it always causes problems for them. It slows down all those add-ons they need to be adding onto their buildings, but especially this early, killing so many workers is actually a huge hit.
It really is.
The one redeeming factor Sting has going for him is he's got the orbital starting up here at his natural, so he's going to be able to drop that double mules and slowly kind of eke some economy back into this game.
Yeah, that is the way Sting really needs to play this right now. Those mules, like you mentioned, are they're a big consolation. Don't get me wrong, because each one basically the equivalent of 4 and a bit mining SCVs, give or take. But he is down 12 workers, and at this stage of the game, you really don't want to be doing that. What Yugioh wants to do from this point, I'm guessing, is just macro up and get into a super solid mid game from a position where whatever our Terran player is doing, he's basically doing it from about a minute and a half behind, because he's been busy reproducing all those SCVs.
Exactly. I think that's exactly Yugioh's plan right now, and he's still got a really kind of safe opener. He's building a small pack of Zerglings to make sure he's got map control. He's denying Sting's vision, and he will be starting Ling Speed in just a moment here. He does have that 100 gas, but just hasn't started it quite yet.
He was waiting for the minerals, but then the minerals actually shooting up to beyond as well. Has he actually forgotten? He has forgotten. He's now got drones back mining gas as well.
We might see Lair before
I think
Zergling speed. Yeah, I mean,
This is possible.
Yugioh is a crazy guy. He does
Okay,
cool
yeah, there we
strategies.
go. The speed started. Okay, he just left it a couple of seconds late. We were worried for a second. Good positioning there on the Marines from Sting. Bear in mind that we don't actually have a full wall off in the main yet, so those Ling run buys can potentially still be effective, but he has got units out now, and we have a reactored factory. And this is really telling here. Look at this. He's actually only built one at the moment because he's looking to get that tech lab drop the starport. He just doesn't have the minerals he normally would, and that's really frustrating him right now.
Absolutely. Just slowing everything down by that steady amount. I mean, we are seeing his SCV count start to climb back up, but it is 42 drones over 25 SCVs, so Yugioh is in such a comfortable position right now, starting his lair, going up to 4 gas, adding that double evo chamber, getting his creep spread out, he's going to take a third base. Everything is just starting to kind of wind out for Yugioh. He's going to start being able to pump out units very, very quickly, and Sting doesn't really have any option to put pressure on.
Yep, Sting is still going to, he's still going to use these Hellions to try and get as much harassment damage done as he can. I mean, what else can he do at this point? I like that he's going, of course, for that third command center quickly, an extra orbital, pumping out SCVs and getting those extra mules, always worth it. So, and of course, he needs to play catch-up in this position, so that's a great decision coming out of him. He started Stim as well, and I think this is important. He's basically skipped on going Starport Banshee. So he's going, right, hang on a second, all my timings have been thrown off at this point. What I need to do now is just go back into probably Biotank, something like that, because he's making another reactor for that second barracks, I'm guessing, to flop.
Absolutely. It looks like he's going to try to get those reactors out, probably add on an eBay or two in the next couple of minutes, kind of get the siege tanks rolling out. And I think it's really smart decision to go for that composition, which is very, very micro-intensive. Obviously, the Marines, when controlled really well, when the siege tanks are spread out and they're used to focus down banelings, can be really effective. But we are seeing these Hellions come up, kill a surprising number of Zerglings.
Oh, and they might even pick off a Queen here as well. Those Zerglings are basically trying to shepherd the Queen back home. He successfully does it for now, but he's coming back out, going to try and focus down the second Queen as well. And Sting needs to get so much harassment damage done with these Hellions to get himself back on level play. He's actually just going to be heading home at this point because he's thinking, well, the number of speedlings that could pop out there, I might accidentally get surrounded because he has control of the watchtower. Doesn't want to risk it.
Absolutely a good pullback from Sting. I mean, the number of Zerglings he saw out, there's a huge threat for counterattacks. With no bunker, with only 3 or 4 Marines on the low ground, he was really open to that. But I really loved Yugioh's play there. It was so smart. Rather than backing off from the Hellions, he said, I know I have an advantage. I am not giving up my creep spread. And he was absolutely adamant about contesting those Hellions map control there. And now we're seeing his creep spread flood into the middle of the map, flood out the front of his third base, and he's just going to have fantastic map control for this entire game.
Yeah, this is looking really, really good. We even had an Overseer there in the main base, spot all the additional barracks that are coming down as well. Not able to get the third base due to that little bit of gunky creep spread there, but he is going to try anyway. I think the creep should be rescinding just about fast enough. The Hellions possibly getting surrounded in the middle of the map here. Very, very close. One of them gets surrounded, needs to continue micring the rest so that they don't get caught up as well. Sting now down to 3 Hellions in this hit squad, and Yugioh feeling so comfortable. He's going up to his 4th base already.
Nice pickup by Yugioh there. Still contesting that map control, still pushing that creep out. Meanwhile, he is getting 2-2 already. Sting's only just started his +1, so he's so far behind in upgrades.
That supply block, man. We have 3 supply depots on the way, but they're less than halfway done, and he is stuck at 89. What is it with this tournament and that number? We've actually seen Sting stuck at 89 before, earlier, I think, in the open bracket, so this isn't something that we haven't seen. He should be able to get out of that shortly, though, but that's going to hurt him a little bit more.
Yeah, and that's slowing everything down. His third base here is getting attacked by these Zerglings. He's coming down with his Marines and Hellions, pushing those off, picking up a few Zergling kills, but we are seeing the Sharks come in now. The Burrowed Infestors moving in. The Zergling Swarm moving up, but taking a lot of damage, and out comes the Bungle!
That is money right there, and... oh, hang on. Did you hear that? That's the sound of every Terran player on the supply at the moment. But I can't help but feeling the reason he's evened up the supply is because Yugioh is spending so much of his time and resources just teching up at the moment. The Great Aspire is already on the way, and the aggression we've seen out of Sting up to this point in the game, okay, he's moving out now, but so far we've seen 1 failed drop.
Absolutely. I mean, this push is actually going to be quite scary for Yugioh. As great as his position is, he may need to hold on for Broodlords before he engages. Oh, but he is going to charge up here, clip off some Marines at the front, land a nice fungal on those siege tanks and Marines.
Oh, no, and that has to be, that's so unbelievably good right now for Yugioh. He saw that the tanks were unsieged and he went to himself, well, look, even if I lose all these Lings, I'm going to be able to get a pretty decent amount of splash damage done on the rest of these units. He doesn't kill every single tank, but he forces Sting back. So Sting has tried the Hellion harassment. That did a little bit of damage, but not too much. He's tried the drop. That didn't work out too well so far, and now he's tried pushing out, and Yugioh's pushing that back as well. He's just doing so well.
This is really, really sick play from Yugioh. I mean, he's going to be morphing those Broodlords now, and this is a hole which I don't know if Sting is going to be able to pull himself out of it. He is kind of poking down here, trying to nip at the edge of the creep, but Yugioh is on top of it. He's constantly got his Zerglings out there, fungling that medevac in the center, and Sting's just going to try to do a slow tank push, but right on creep spread with his upgrades +1, soon to be 1-1, up against 2-2. It isn't going to be enough, and Yugioh knows that he's going in for a big Zergling counterattack at the third base.
Yeah, and here we go, and he sees it and immediately gives up the GG. So Yugioh going 1-0 up very, very quickly indeed. And to be honest, taking down those destructible rocks in the center opens up more attack paths for run-bys. And when you're only at about 115 supply, that's, I can't even call that a double-edged sword. That's just potentially horrific. And that's exactly what we saw there. He saw the Lings running towards his third base and went, okay, jig's up.
Yeah.
I tried, but couldn't come back.